now we move on to chapter 5, verse 1. Here it is. And I saw on the right hand of him that sitteth upon the throne a book, or a roll, written within and on the back, having been sealed with 7 seals. Now, much ingenuity has been spent in the interpretation of this book and what it represents. Some have suggested that it is the history of the Christian church. Neither can it be the book of the covenant, yet to be made with Israel, because that new covenant is in mercy, as we can easily read in Hebrews 10, 16, 17. And let's not forget that this book has to do with judgment. So why should we go out of our way to seek for a far-fetched meaning when we have such plain indications in the word itself of what a sealed book denotes? Now, in Isaiah 29:11, let's go there. Isaiah 29:11, here's what we read. And the vision of all is become unto you as the words of a book that is sealed, which men deliver to one that is learned, saying, Read this, I pray thee. And he saith, I cannot, for it is sealed. Now, in Daniel 12, verses 1 to 3, we read of the Great Tribulation, which is the central subject of the book of Revelation. But Daniel is not permitted to do much more than make known the fact of the Great Tribulation, out of which Daniel's people, the Jews, were to be delivered. The particulars and the circumstances of that day were not to be made known at that time by Daniel. Hence, it is said to him in Daniel 12:4, But thou, O Daniel, shut up the words, and seal the book, even to the time of the end. And when Daniel inquired in chapter 12, verse 8, as to what should be the end of these things, the answer is in verse 9. Go thy way, Daniel, for the words are closed up and sealed till the time of the end. Now, remember the details of a previous vision Daniel was also told to seal up. In Daniel chapter 8, verse 26, we read this, Wherefore shut thou up the vision, for it shall be for many days. All right. When the time comes for the fulfillment of all that is written in this scroll, then the seals are opened. But even then, though these seals are opened, there are still certain things which even John himself has to seal up, such as the things which the 7 thunders uttered in chapter 10, verse 4. Therefore, the opening of the seals of this scroll is the enlargement, the development, and the continuation of the book of Daniel, describing from God's side the judgments necessary to secure the fulfillment of all that he has foretold. The opening of each seal has a special judgment as its immediate result. The scroll given to Ezekiel was similar. In Ezekiel 2:10, we read, He spread it before me, like it was written within and without. And there were written therein lamentations, and mourning, and woe. In like manner, the opening of the seals of this scroll disclosed tribulation, and mourning, and woe. But there is more in the book than this. There is also the object of all this judgment. That object is the redemption of the forfeited inheritance. Okay? You following me? The redemption of the forfeited inheritance. All right. Now, let's go to Revelation 5:2. On to Revelation 5:2. And I saw a strong angel proclaiming with a loud voice, Who is worthy to open the book and to loose the seals thereof? It looks as though there is something more in this 7-seal scroll than the mere continuation of Daniel's prophecies. The continuation is there, without doubt. But there must be more. More which calls for all these judgments and requires the putting forth of all this power. If the book has to do with the whole subject of prophecy, with its causes, consequences, and its end, then it must take us back to the beginning, which the cherubim have already pointed us when man was driven out from paradise, when he forfeited his inheritance, right? When he forfeited his inheritance, and the promise of a coming deliverer and redeemer was given. So what this first vision in heaven in Revelation 4:5 does is take up the history of man in relation to the throne at the point where it was left in Genesis 3:24. The throne is here set up, but man is outside and unable still to gain access. Hence this proclamation, who is worthy? Who has the right to redeem the forfeited inheritance, the lost paradise, from Satan? You see, Satan is in possession of this world now. He is the world's God and prince. Just look at John, the Gospel of John, chapter 12, verse 31, chapter 14, verse 30, chapter 16, verse 11, and then, of course, Ephesians 2:2. Therefore, as such, he was able in a unique way to tempt Yehoshua Mashiach, the Lord Jesus Christ, who had come to redeem it in the only lawful way in which it could be redeemed. Now we can better understand this proclamation, which has so important a place in this heavenly vision. And the inquiry will be like that of Boaz. Who will act the Goel's, or Redeemer's part, for man and for Israel, and recover his lost estate? Jeremiah 32 shows that a sealed book was given in connection with such a transaction, as shown in verses 6 to 16 of chapter 32. That serves as an illustration for a much weightier, heavier redemption, even that of the new song which immediately follows in this heavenly vision. The song whose theme is nothing less than the redemption of creation, accomplished by one who is altogether worthy, both by unanswerable right and unequaled might. Now on to verse 3 of chapter 5. Verse 3, chapter 5. And no one was able in the heaven, nor upon the earth, nor under the earth, to open the book or to look at it. The worthiness required is so great that no created being is able to even contemplate it. There was not one that could reply to the angel's challenge. Now verse 4. And I was weeping much, because no one worthy was found to open the book or to look at it. The scene must have been very vivid and real to John to produce the sadness. Surely he must have realized somewhat the serious nature of the consequences involved if one worthy could not have been found. Then one of the elders breaks the silence. Verse 5. And one of the elders saith unto me, Weep not. Behold, the Lion, which of the tribe of Judah, and the root of David, prevailed so as to open the book, and shall loose the 7 seals of it. Not one of the elders, or the cherubim, or angels, or spirits could accomplish the work of the Goel, the Redeemer. None of these could be next of kin, none but the Son of Man, who was David's son and David's Lord. None but he who was at once the root from whence David sprang, and the offspring which sprang from David could be next of kin, and therefore entitled to redeem the forfeited inheritance of the throne, the land, and the people. He was the Lion of the tribe of Judah. And that's the end of episode 2.